Hello, Monday, and it is December 15th. We're halfway through the month. I can't believe it. I hope everybody had a fabulous weekend. I hope you're warm and cozy where you are. I hope that you're actually enjoying the season. Who celebrate Hanukkah. And I know that it's a busy time of year. It's a stressful time of year sometimes, but I hope that you can take a moment and just kind of enjoy the season. Remember the reason for the season. And I hope that this morning, maybe this will be the start of that for your day, for your week. We're just going to take some time this morning and hang out with each other. All the serious art beaters are going to be here. And, we're going to talk about beads. We're going to talk about jewelry making. We're going to make something. I have a fun show planned for you. So I hope everyone is doing well on this Monday morning. And as I said, it's December 15th. We are almost to Christmas and we are now into Hanukkah. So I hope you all are having a fabulous Monday so far. Let's see who's here. I see Thaisa is here. So Thaisa is here to help out this morning. If you guys have questions, she is here. She's so trusty and a faithful sidekick. So thanks for being here, Thaisa. Jackie 55 MD, good morning. Bobby Henderson is here. Ilka is here. Kat, good morning. Kim Caldwell, good morning. And let's see, who else? Jan T from Montana. Oh my gosh, I bet it's cold there. Laura Rang, hello. Denise H is from overcast, damp Southeast Florida. Isn't it always damp there? Just sometimes it's cold and sometimes it's hot. I've not been there when it's been terribly cold. So I bet it's very damp. Michelle is here. So we've got both Michelle and Thaisa today. I'm excited for that. Thanks for being here, Michelle. Erin, hello. Ruth, Alice, hello. I'm glad you're here. Janice is here from New Hampshire. Cindy is here from Georgia. We're going to talk about this necklace today, Cindy. I'm glad you like it. Erin is from Iowa. Jane from Long Island. Laura likes the necklace too. Okay, we're going to talk about that. BJ is here. Oh my gosh, Robin is here. Carolyn from Oregon. Del Ree is here. Kara is here. Tori says it's 29 degrees in Reno. Wow, holy moly. Erin Grimelli is here. Jane is saying hello to Thaisa and Michelle. Ann B from Colorado and Maya from Utah. Thank you guys. We've got the country kind of covered. Sandra, -11 wind chill in Indiana. Oh, I'm not going to tell you what it's supposed to be where I am because I'm in Arizona and it's always warmer here, but we are a lot warmer than we should be. So I'm not going to tell you guys. I'm not going to tell you because it might upset you. But guys, it is December 15th, and I want to make sure you're in the know about all the things before we get into the show today. So if you're watching at artbeads.com/live, that's the best place to watch the show live. So you can chit chat with Ruth Alice and Jane and Tori and Sandra. All of the serious art beaters like to hang out here on Monday mornings. And let's see what else. Oh, if you have not really been to the live show before, here's how it works. You can chit chat. So all you have to do is put your name in and you can comment on the show. You can share the show by clicking on that arrow. So if you have a beading buddy that you want to make sure joins you and hangs out with you, send that over to them. There's also a heart icon. I just saw some hearts. Thank you guys. You can share the love. So you can click those hearts as many times as you want, as often as you want, just to let us know if you see something you like or I say something funny maybe. So thank you for that, you guys. And you can shop the show. And that is really a very cool feature. there's a shopping bag icon on your screen. If you're watching at artbeads.com/live, that will allow you to go and look at all of the products that are in the show, including a few things that aren't in the show. But you can click on that shopping bag and you can shop while you watch. So you can take things out of the shopping bag and put them into your shopping cart. And you can just learn about whatever it is. So I'll tell you as much as I can, but sometimes I don't have all of the product information. So that's a great way for you to learn more. And Thaisa and Michelle can help as well. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, unfortunately, I can't see your comments live. But if you want to stay put over there, feel free to hang out with us. We love that you watch wherever you watch from. But know that I can't see your comments live. So today being December 15th, we've been doing the 12 days of deals here at artbeads.com. And guess what? Today's deal is so amazing. It is 10% off of Prestige. So if you know Prestige, high quality crystals, high quality glass pearls, flatbacks, chatons, all kinds of beautiful, sparkly things. Yeah, 10% off today, and you get a crystal blend, a Prestige crystal blend as a gift with purchase, which is so cool. It's always fun to get that little gift with purchase in your package. So we're excited about those 12 days of deals, and you just need to check back every day. So even if we don't remind you, you might be in the know because of the newsletter, or you just have on your to-do list to go to artbeads.com every day, go check it out, go see what the deal of the day is in this 12 days of deals. So yeah, so that's everything that you need to be in the know about, I think. And Thaisa and Michelle, if there is anything else that we need to tell these fine folks, please help me out with that. I think my notes covered most everything. So today, my friends, we're going to talk about statement jewelry, and we're really going to focus on statement necklaces. So one of the first things that I fell in love with making jewelry was making statement necklaces. And I have always loved statement necklaces. Whether they're in style or not, I don't care. I like a statement necklace, and I think everybody should have at least one in their accessory wardrobe. I think sometimes you just need that extra little something to jazz up an outfit or take you to a special event or a special occasion. Maybe it's a girl's lunch. Maybe it's a holiday party. Maybe it's dinner out with your significant other. Whatever it is, it's always nice to have a statement piece. Hi, Julie P. So I think it's so important to have that in your mind when you're thinking about making jewelry. Do I need to make a statement piece? Do I need a statement piece for me or for a friend? I don't know. I think it's something to consider. So one thing I wanted to show off was I have this amazing piece on today, and I'm crazy about these beads. These are man-made opalite. They are glass, and they are faceted nugget style. And I'll flip the camera down and show you this close up. They are side drilled. So they're drilled kind of in an irregular fashion. So not all of these beads all match up perfectly. So they're really cool. They give you kind of a little bit of an organic vibe, and they're super chunky and cool. So I used almost the entire strand for this piece, but I am crazy about these beads, and all I did was I added a couple of demi rounds. You guys know I love demi rounds in between each bead. So I love the simplicity of it, but it's a statement piece. It's big, it's bold, and this particular bead looks really kind of blue, or it looks a little crystally, and sometimes it will pick up what you're wearing. So if you're wearing a red or a dark purple, it will really pick up some of those colors. Thank you, Julie P. And Susanna is here. Good morning. Janice said, I still love the necklace you made last January with the check glass garnet. Nice and chunky and beautiful. Janice, I just pulled that necklace out like 2 days ago. And I was thinking about it because January was coming. So I'll have to bring that one out and show that. I love that piece too. It's a really fun necklace. So this is what I wanted to show first. And I wanted to show that I'm just wearing some fairly simple earrings. So maybe you don't think these are simple. They're simple to me. But I'm just doing a little subtle earring when I've got a big necklace like this. So I just wanted to show off this kind of vibe so you can get the look. Now I'm going to flip the camera down. I'm going to show you another piece that I made. So this, my friends, is a statement piece. Now this was all on my bead mat in the promo picture for the show. And I'll tell you what, I know not everybody likes orange, but this is all kind of shades of orange, kind of rustic colors, rustic vibe. And I'm going to put this one on in a little bit as well to show you what this looks like on, because it doesn't look like, I mean, it looks pretty like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure I could wear that. But when you put it on, you see how wearable it really is. So I wanted to show you this. I'll give you the specifications on that in a minute, but let me take off the one I'm wearing so you can see this guy. So this is that beautiful opalite piece. So look at how these chunky beads look. They're so incredible, and it's nice and warm from me wearing it. But look at these big chunky stones. And again, all I did was put little demi rounds in between. So just a little bit of spacing, but this is a big dramatic piece. I won't lie to you, it's heavy. So for those of you who don't like a heavy piece, just know that. And sometimes when you're talking about statement pieces, you are talking about something that might be a little bit more on the heavier side. So plan accordingly. If you're going to be out all day, maybe you don't want to wear this all day, but maybe you want to wear this if you're going out to dinner, going out for a couple of drinks, going out for coffee, whatever the case may be. This might be a short-term wear, but I love this. I think this is so much fun. So I just wanted you to see what it looked like, what these beads look like. They are absolutely so funky and cool. The shape is so interesting, and I love that they're not all the same. They're just all a little bit different. Some are a little bit milkier. Some are a little bit clear. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. I love, love, love it. And Karen A says, it's neat the way the facet breaks up the string through the beads. Yeah, the faceting on these are super interesting. So these are special. I mean, this is the kind of thing you want to take and you want to use it. But I'll tell you what, if you don't want a full-on statement necklace, grab one or two of these as a pendant. Grab one, grab two, grab 3, 5. But one, just put that on a piece of wire wrap it, and attach some chain, and you have a very simple necklace, but using a really gorgeous faceted bead. Look at that. Oh, it's just so cool. So I can't say enough about it. I'm going to set that off to the side because I will try this one on as well. This one, I used a lot of fun things. So we introduced a bunch of new gemstones and trade beads a while back. And Kathleen, you didn't miss a whole lot. I gave you the rundown on what's happening. But we're talking about statement necklaces today, or statement jewelry, statement necklaces primarily. So this one has a bunch of things. So let's talk about the pieces and parts, and I'll talk to you about kind of my thought process here. So first of all, I love these big, giant coin-shaped beads. Each one of them is like a little natural painting. And I had some left over from my strand. So just so you can see these are incredible and they're so shiny. They're going to pick up the ring light like crazy. But these are bird's eye rhyolite gemstones. They are 30 millimeter puffed coins. So they're not completely flat. They have a little bit of puffiness to them. And they are all kinds of beautiful, natural nature, little paintings. So much fun. Look at the colors in this particular bead. So each one of these, you guys, if you get a strand of these, you don't have to do what I did and do a statement piece, but you can take one of these as your focal, wire wrap it, put it on a head pin, or, make it into a simple statement. And I just love how these look. So there's a bunch. Yours are all going to be different. So I used I used 6 in my design, and then I had 6 more to work with. So I could make another one of these, or I could do a bunch of other fun things. You could even make this a big bracelet focal for a statement bracelet. So thanks, Jane. So these were kind of my start to my idea for this design. Now, I also couldn't resist picking up these amazing trade beads. So I'll show you these close up in just a second here. These are faceted agate tubes, and they're considered trade beads, and they come on this little raffia and plastic, and they are amazing. So they're very rustic, very, very interesting, and they are a tube shape that are faceted. So see the facets on these? Super, super cool. These are just interesting, and there's different shades of the color, and these are all irregular. I mean, not irregular, but they're all not the same size and shape and color, but they are all each faceted, and some of them have some interesting, almost like little inclusions in them. So they are super interesting and unique. And I thought to myself, maybe I don't want a whole necklace of these, but wouldn't it be fun to add them to my piece because they complement these coin beads so nicely. So first of all, here's what I had left. So these were the ones that I pulled off the strand. This is still on the strand, and I used 5 in my design. And what I decided to do was put them on head pins, and I did that. But they have fairly large holes, you guys. So what I did was I took some of the really cool trade beads that we have that are vinyl heishi. So I used the off-white vinyl heishi. I'll show you them in just a second. And I positioned one at the bottom of my head pin, put the bead on the head pin, and added one more up top, wire wrapped it, and I created, I used one of the longer ones for the center, and then I used some of the shorter ones on either side of the center. For the center one, I actually used some of those coiled lantern beads, which are super interesting, super rustic, super fun. And trade beads have been around since almost the beginning of time, Hannah, and they were often used as currency. So in the days where Europeans came over to the United States, they would use them to, kind of barter and do things like that. So they were made of all kinds of things, shell and stone and metal, and they've been around forever, but they've been kind of more used for more interesting and tribal and rustic type jewelry designs. And there's a lot of them that you'll see when you shop African beads. They are just, they're very prominent out there and very sought after for collectors, but also for those who like to include them in their designs. So here, the little vinyl beads, they are these guys. So this is a huge strand of 3mm off-white vinyl hishi. And literally they are, let me grab a couple so I can show you. They're little, like tiny little flat spacers. So this is super cool for using as a spacer. And because there were kind of shades of cream in this design, I thought, let's incorporate some of those because they're interesting and they add a little bit of continuity around the designs. We've got several different kinds of beads, but these are the same throughout the whole necklace as spacers. So I used those. And then I also wanted to use these trade beads that are coil lanterns. Now, these, you guys, are really cool. We have these in a couple of different metals. Sorry for the plastic sounds. And these are not perfect, you guys. So each one of these was handmade a long time ago, and they have this little coiling around it. So they make some super interesting spacers. So they're flat on either side. They have a large hole, and they're this particular one is a copper strand. So I thought the copper complemented this one very nicely. So I wanted to incorporate those. So I'm just giving you guys some insight into how I was thinking about putting this together. So this brought in some shades of metallic, and I used one here on top of my my faceted agate, and then I used them all around these focal sections. So 2 around each one of my wire wrapped dangles. And so I used the big beads, the dangles, the coils, and the vinyl. Now, I also wanted to use these. So these faceted rounds are some of my favorite beads. I've used these beads already in a design, and I absolutely fell in love with them. The colorways are the colors are so incredible. This is this is what I have left from the strand. They're 12mm natural agate gemstone beads, and they're such a nice quality. Look at the shine on those facets. These colors are all so nice and neutral. They're shades of yellow, shades of like a peach tone. There's like this faceted clear. So up these sides, up towards the back of the piece, I've incorporated those. Now I also threw in some teacup beads. And if you're not familiar with teacup beads, they are a little 4x2mm bead by Starman. This is metallic antique copper in matte. And this is what they look like. They're literally a little teacup. And these are used for all kinds of fun things, but I used them just to add some more flair, some more interest. I mean, this is a statement necklace. So I've got statement all the way around, and you'll see those hishi are in there. And I also used some demi rounds. So in between my vinyl hishi and in between my teacup beads, I've got some little 11-0 demi rounds in there as well. So just a combination of all things that kind of go together color-wise and make for a cool statement. So I'm going to actually put this on. And the coin beads, so just know that when you lift up the piece, the coin beads are going to flip, but when you put it on, they will lay flat. So I'm just trying to get this piece on. Bear with me. And I'm going to just flip the camera back around real quick and let you see this design. So this is very wearable, you guys. So it's not, and this one I would say is less heavy than the other one, but it's, you know, I would do it with a collared shirt or a crew neck, like a sweater or something like that. And it's just, you could take out one of the dangles and just do 3. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. Thanks, Gina. Just really cool. And the other beads up the back are just kind of peeking out. So you could take one of these out and start your faceted agates here. The options are endless. So I just wanted to show you it on because it looks a little like, oh my gosh, when you're seeing it flat on the table. And as I said, these are going to flip when you take it off, but they will lay flat on your body. So super fun. So let's take a look at something else. Right? I've got an idea. I'm going to need my bead mat for this. And let me move all of the pieces I showed you out of the way. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So I've shown some of these beads already. Actually, one of the beads already in one of my prior shows, but I'm going to match it with something I haven't shown. So this is a bead strand made in Ghana. So a lot of our trade beads that you see could be from Africa. And I'll tell you, I've got a couple of friends, one of whom I think is still watching the show this morning, that are huge fans of African beads. And these are glass, and they are super organic looking, super interesting. The colors are really amazing. And I love how these feel. So they feel good, they feel nice, and they're just super interesting. So they have, you know, a little bit of an interesting vibe. Like, it's going to be different than your check glass or your gemstones. It's going to add a little bit of something interesting to your jewelry. Now, here's something that I believe, thanks, Laura. This is something I believe a lot of you love, and that is rock crystal. So this is a giant strand of crystal. This I could not believe. I couldn't believe the price, first of all, but I couldn't believe when I got it home how much you get on this strand. I don't even know how long this strand is. It's hard for me to show you the entire strand stretched out, but all of this is these super cool top drilled irregular shaped beads. And these, if you get this strand, the options are endless for you. So as I was showing you in other cases, you could make a whole necklace with these. Of course, it would be kind of a long one. Or you could take one and create a pendant. You could use 3 and create a focal section on a necklace, or you can use a bunch of them. So we're going to put these two things together. I want to put these things together. I have an idea for these, and I've got a couple of things that I've got set off to the side here that might help us. So I've got some demi rounds here. I've got them in a couple of different sizes. So these, if you know, you know, I've been working with these like crazy. These are demi rounds. They're like a half seed bead. They look like a tiny little donut, and they are the color nickel. So they're like an antique silver, which is such a great versatile color for jewelry making. Gina, you are right. These would make amazing sun catchers. Like this, I mean, there's so many here. You could do a bunch of things with these. So I'm going to hold these off to the side, and my thought process is I may also bring these in to the equation. So I love hematine because it also looks like antique silver. So these are faceted hematine, and they are 8mm round, and they have the most incredible faceting. I've seen hematine in my life. I've seen a lot of it. I've worked with it a lot, but this is probably the best quality hematine I've seen. So it looks quality, it is quality, and we might put some of that into this mix as well. So I thought, let's create a cool statement piece and see how this all comes together. So I'm going to grab my scissors and cut into my beautiful glass beads from Ghana. And these are considered trade beads, and they are absolutely amazing. So I want to show you these. These also have large holes. So, and the holes may be slightly irregular. These are not, made in a factory in the US. They're not, they're not the same kind of factory type beads that you might be used to. So, the other amazing thing about these is the price. I'm just going to flash this. This was the price, but no longer. So if you want to get a great deal on some African beads, these are amazing. So I'm just going to take them all off of the cotton strand and put them here. This is a giant pile of beads. I always like to try and make a heart. Look, so pretty. So there's our beads. And I just saw Nancy from Michigan said demi rounds are her favorite. She likes those. And then I'm going to cut this strand, and I'm going to pull them all off because if you're only going to use a few, which I'm only going to use a few, I want to select which ones I want to use. They're all different sizes. And they are drilled, like top drilled, but they're not necessarily, they're like side drilled. Some of them are at the top. Some of them are a little bit further down on the bead. Some of them have like what appears to be a rough edge, but it's not. It's not rough. It just looks rough. It's very high polish. Some of them have a little bit of a slanted cut at the bottom. So I want to be able to pick which ones I'm going to use. So I'm going to take them all off of the stringing material here, get them all in front of me, and then I can pick which ones I'm going to use. If I can get these last two off of here. All right. Almost got him off of there. There we go. So look at this pile. I can't really make a pretty heart with this one, but look at all of those beads. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of beads. So I'm thinking, I'm going to show you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we're going to have this, like these blue beads as our strand. But what I want to do is create a focal section of these. So it would be, beads up top, big chunky beads like these up top, and then some beautiful crystals at the bottom. So very statement, very interesting, very fun. So let's pick our crystals to work with. So let me pull this up a little bit more so we can see. So I think I'm going to want at least one really long one. So I'm seeing that one as a long one. That's a long one. There's another long one. So there's quite a few long ones. Ooh, look at this one. This has like this cracking inside, and I almost see like a rainbow in it. Maybe it's not picking up to you, but I can see a little bit of a rainbow. Kind of almost looks like moonstone. So I think I want to use that one. Let's see. So I'm very fond of this one and this one. I kind of like this one. This one's got a little bit of kind of that same cracking look, but it's very clear. So that one's interesting to me. I think I want a couple of smaller ones, some, maybe a chunky small one like this. And this one has some really cool, like just some natural, like they cut it, but they didn't cut it smooth. So it's got this fun little rough edge on it, but it's not rough. This is another one that I really like. Look at that slanted top, super cool. Karen says, I normally save my strings from the beads. Yeah, I mean, this is some great string to work with if you want to save that. I mean, for craft projects and things, I like to save ribbons and strings and all kinds of fun things. This is a neat one. So I think I might like grab that one too. And then maybe one other long one. This one is really clear, super pretty. So maybe that is going to go. So how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 7. So I think what I might do, I'm going to grab another bead mat off to the side, and I'm going to put these over off to the side so that you don't hear them clanking around on the table if I pick some more out of the pile. I just can't believe how many you get of these. I mean, it's amazing. So for a statement necklace, one of the things that I like to make sure I do is choose a 49 strand beading wire. So this is the Art Beads Designer Jewelry Wire. I like this one because it is, it's got a lot of strands. So the 49 strands come together for one wire. And I like that it's going to give me a nice drape, and it's also going to be nice and stable for a big necklace using big beads. So Karen says, I do a lot of dream catchers and macrame. Ooh, I like those two things, Karen. So this is what I like to use. And I'll tell you, I know folks get very nervous about large beads. I have never, I won't say never. I've had maybe 1 or 2 fails in the course of 17 years making jewelry. I've only had a couple of failures with big, heavy beads. And honestly, I think it was because my crimping was not superior in those cases. So I'll talk to you about crimping a little bit later, but I think, don't be afraid to use these large beads and be worried that you're going to have a problem with the wire. This stuff is so strong and so easy to work with that I don't think that you'll have a problem. And you can always try it out, see how it does, see if you like it. There's other ways you can do knotting. You can put some on. You could do sections on craft wire. So you could do a focal section on a craft wire. So there's all kinds of options that you can take to create something like this. So I put a few of our hematine here too, because I'm thinking that might be helpful to me as well to add a little bit of metallic accent. And then I'm going to pour out a few of, actually these, you know what? These are round seed beads. I forgot. I pulled out rounds and demi-rounds. So this is the 11-0 round by Toho in the nickel color. So there's that color, if you want to screenshot that. And then I've got the demi-rounds in an 8-0. So I'm just kind of putting those out. These are probably going to work together. And one of the things that these are going to do for me is help me with my spacing. And because I've got a larger hole, that can be a little bit challenging for creating. So you could alternatively work with bead caps. You could even, we could bring in some of these. So I've got our lantern coils, the trade beads, in the white metal. So this will match back to our design as well. So we can throw some of these in and see how those look as well. So I love the idea of kind of bringing all kinds of pieces and parts here to our design. So I'm going to start with the focal section. Hi, Zach. I didn't see you come in. So I'm going to start and just add these beads first. So I'm going to put that right on to my stringing wire. And I think I I think the coils actually might be a little bit too wide for the look I'm going for the center. So I am going to take my demi rounds, and I need to move this up a little bit. And I'm going to take a demi round, a round, and another demi round. And then I'm going to add my next little piece of crystal. Now you'll see here, this crystal on the left has a little bit of a bigger hole, but that 8-0 demi round kind of sits in the hole there. So I'm still getting some good dimension. I want there to be movement in between my beads. So I want to make sure that I'm putting beads in between, some spacers in between, so that I'm getting that movement. So next I'm going to take this guy, this shorter one, and I want this to be very, not symmetrical. I want it to be interesting. I want this section to be, just kind of cool and fun. So I'm going to do that trio of beads with the demi rounds and the seed bead, the round seed bead in between. And I think I'm going to use this fun crackly one next. So that looks really cool and interesting. And then my next demi round, seed bead, and demi round. They look the same almost on my mat. And let's see. I think I'm going to grab the big one, the long one here. So we've now got all of these fun and interesting shapes. And then two more to add. And I want this piece to curve at the bottom of my necklace. I want this not to hang straight in the center. I want it to be large enough that it will actually curve. And some of the beads are going to be, a little higher up. The hole will be a little higher up in the bead. They might be a little bit further down. And again, they're all going to look a little bit different and be really interesting. Let's see. Michelle says we have another version of a quartz necklace called Crystal Queen in the shopping bag. Oh, okay. Is that another one, another strand of these quartz beads? Is it the darker one, Michelle? Because I don't remember if I put that in, but I saw that one and I thought that would be really cool too. So there we go. We've got all of our section here, and see how when I hold this, like, the necklace would be, this curves. So it's going to create a curve at the bottom of our necklace. So just something fun and interesting, really cool pieces of quartz. And there are, if you study like properties of, oh, no, it's a pattern. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, I didn't know there was one out there. So folks can check that out as well as ways to use these beads. If you read about and understand, know about the properties of stones, there's all kinds of, properties that the crystal quartz might bring. So that you can decide if you want to believe in that or not. But there are some cool things about stones that maybe are healing properties and that kind of thing. So I just added my next section of my spacers. And then I added my first glass bead, my first blue bead. Now, the holes on these are large. So my demi round is kind of sitting right in that bead. And I'm okay with that. It will mean that sometimes your spacing isn't going to be exactly right. But something I'm going to do next might make this design interesting and also help with the spacing. And that's adding one of these guys. So adding one of our coil lanterns, which again, these are not perfect. They look very kind of wonky, but they're super interesting and fun as spacers. And that actually has a large hole as well. So that's going to be an interesting spacer because it will sometimes, it'll sometimes take care of the large hole bead spacing issue, and sometimes it will compound it, but that will make the necklace super interesting. So I'm going to add another one of our stone bead or our glass beads. So that's going to create a fun, interesting look. Really a cool vibe. This is something, if you decide to make something like this is going to be something that probably, you know, you won't see on the street. You won't see every day. So you will have something unique and interesting and a statement that will get folks' attention. And you'll enjoy wearing it. I think we feel good when we're wearing a fun piece of jewelry. I think we feel like, look what I'm wearing. Isn't it fun? It's good. I like to wear statement pieces because I used to, when I worked in corporate America, I used to wear suits all the time, boring suits. And I always wanted to have like a cool piece of jewelry that would just jazz up my outfit. So that's pretty cool. I love the look of these beads with this crystal. So there's a little bit of white in these glass beads. And so it just kind of like goes and ties back to that clear kind of vibe there. So I'm going to go up. Now we probably won't use all of these glass beads. Again, you get a ton of the crystal and you also get a ton of the glass beads as well. So we won't use all of them, but you'll have some left over. And I also put in the shopping bag some things to do a stretch bracelet. So I put in some stretch cord. I put in a large hole needle. I think I put one of those large needles where you can put all your beads on and then just pull them on to your stretch cord. Because I've got some larger beads that aren't necessarily necklace size. Oh, what did I do here? That aren't necklace size, but they are like bracelet size. So you can do a statement bracelet. So if you're interested in not a statement necklace, but maybe a statement bracelet and you just want something easy to make, that's an option for you too. A statement stretch bracelet, big beads or bigger beads. And I liked these for so if you've got a stretch bracelet and you need a large hole bead to cover up your knot, this is a great bead. So even if you're not using these large beads I'm sharing today, this could still be something. If you get a strand of these little fun coils, this would be a cool bead to put on your stretch bracelets to hide your knots. And I know folks are always kind of looking for, how do I hide my knot on my stretch bracelets? So that's an option for you. I'm going to put on just a couple more of these blue beads. Look at how this is looking. I love this. This is a really cool design and easy design. Like, this is not a hard thing to put together. And you might want fewer crystal beads. Like I said, you could just use, 3 or 5. I've got 7 of them, but you could use fewer of them if you would like to do that. Instead, you could even do 1, even with the big beads. They would kind of overpower the 1, but you could still do just 1, and that would be a statement in and of itself. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. This is going to be visible when you're wearing it. Now, depending on how long you make it, you could make this really long if you wanted. But I'm going to take these guys and run them up the rest of the necklace. So I think they will, with the length that I'm going for, they're not going to be as visible, and they're going to take away some of the weight of this piece. So this is going to be a heavy necklace if you use a lot of these and these crystal pieces. So if you're looking to save yourself some weight and save yourself some of these beads, because maybe you want to use them in multiple pieces, that's a way to do it. So you can use a smaller bead, a less weighty bead, but still have something that ties back to your piece. And I think these hematines kind of bring more metallic, little bit of like this nickel tone. And by the way, this is the 8-0 demi round. Isn't he cute? I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm thinking about donuts because that bead looks like a little donut. Sorry, I'm hungry. So I'm going to put a few of these on and see how this looks. And I'm using the same pattern of the demi rounds with the 11-0 in between all the way around. So I like to create some continuity with my spacers like we did in that kind of orangey design. So I like how this looks. So we've got some really pretty hematine, sparkly. And what I want to do now is I'm going to leave a little bit of extra wire. You might want to measure yours out. You know, if you know exactly the length that you need, you may want to measure yours out. I'm working from the spool, so I'm going to cut now because I want to work up the other side. So I'm going to cut, and I'm probably going to cut more than I need, you guys. So my apologies. I know that's wasteful, but I didn't measure mine out. So I didn't necessarily see how, and so here is bead style here, and then here is the other side. So I'm going to start working on this other side. And if you remember, I started with just the one of our African beads. So I put on our little trio of spacers, and then I grabbed the African bead. So sorry, Karen. You know, I don't know why I don't eat breakfast before this show. I think I just can't think about food until I'm done. So I'm always starving when I'm done with my show. So I'll probably just eat everything in sight when I'm done here. So here's my spacers again. And then I'm going to add a coil. So hopefully you guys can see this coil's a nice one. You'll find some that if you get a strand of these, you'll find some that look a little wonky, but honestly, I think that adds character to a design where everything is a little bit, you know, irregular. I hate to use the word irregular, but it's just, they're not perfection. They're not precisely made in, you know, in a factory. So these are going to have a bit of an organic look. If that's not for you, I know it's not for everybody, but it just is fun to have something that's super interesting and unique. So, and each one of your strands is going to look a little bit different and a little bit interesting. So that looks fun. And I poured out some more of the demi rounds because I was getting low over there in my pile. And when you're working with larger hold beads like these, you can kind of be selective on which ones you think might work a little bit better. So this is our 3 beads that we have on so far. And what did I do? I did 1, 2, 3. I did 6 beads. So we've got 6 of the blue beads to put on with those coil pieces in between. And you could also use a smaller gemstone bead here too. So if you like a, you know, if you like another gemstone that matches up here. So you could use like some citrine to tie back to your yellow in these beads, or you could use some more quartz beads, maybe some quartz rounds. But there's all kinds of fun things that you can do here. Lots of design possibilities. So I'm all about trying to find all the fun ways you can put things together. So that's how we're looking. I am already thinking about the shirt that I want to wear with this necklace. I love how this is shaping up. So look at that. It just looks really cool. So gonna get a few more of these beads on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've almost got all of the blue beads. And coil bead. Pick a different one. And as you're looking at these coils, like I said, they're all a little bit kind of funky. So you can pick which ones you want to use. And one trick that I like is if you're putting them all throughout, so if you've got beads that have a tendency to be a little bit more wonky, you can decide which ones you want further up on the necklace, because maybe they're less visible, but you still have the ability to use them. You just may not like their appearance as much as some of the others. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got all of our coils and our glass beads. And then we're going to go into our pattern of the hematine. So these are going to be kind of the less visible beads, as we talked about. And, for those of you who are not statement necklace wearing folks, because you think, I can't wear a statement necklace, like that's too much. I'm going to double dare you guys to try a statement necklace. Try wearing a statement necklace. And maybe you don't want to use heavy beads, but maybe you've got some large wood beads or some large lucite beads, acetate beads, that kind of thing. Try them, because I think you might be pleasantly surprised. And something I also like to think about with statement pieces is you can layer them. So maybe you want to wear your statement as a focal, but you want to layer too. That's another way to incorporate statement jewelry into your wardrobe. All right, so I'm checking my beads, and I've got all of my hematine on to my piece. Now, what I want to do is a quick fit check. So what I like to do is hold it up to my neck and see if it's laying where I want it to. And I think I'm going to take out one of the hematines and one section of spacers, because I want it just a touch shorter. So I'm going to put my stopper on and come over to the other side, take out a hematine, take out the spacers, and let me do another fit check, make sure I like that. I think I like that. So this is going to be not a super short necklace, but not a long necklace either, somewhere in between. And this is going to sit, just nicely as the focal piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish this one off. And what I want to do is get all of because this is such a big necklace, I want to get all of my little spacers put away, because I don't want these to fly everywhere. I'm going to get all this stuff out of the way. When you're working with big beads, it is good to sort of clean up your workspace, because you don't want these things to go everywhere. So let's put look at these. Ugh, they're just beautiful. That is just a gorgeous bead. I love that. Okay, sorry, I got distracted by the pretty beads. And these, you guys, there are so many of these in a strand. So, all right. So finishing off your piece. So I hear people, and I see in a lot of jewelry making forums that people get really nervous about crimping and how do they finish this piece because it's so heavy. And I think I said this earlier, I find that pieces like this, if you use the right kind, you use a good stringing wire, a good quality stringing wire, and you use a good quality crimp, and you have good crimping skills, you do not need to do anything terribly fancy. I hear a lot of folks say, oh, I double crimp, I triple crimp. I don't double crimp most necklaces like this. Now, I've done multi-strand pieces of, big stones, big glass beads, and I have double crimped those. But this, to me, is not in need of a double crimp. So you do whatever you feel most comfortable with, and that's what's important. Now, I forgot to bring a clasp out, so let me grab a clasp, you guys. I'm gonna use a simple clasp because we've got a very big necklace that's got a lot going on, and we don't need a fancy clasp. So, Michelle, I don't think this is in the, I think this may be an out of stock item, but maybe you could pop in a toggle or even a hook and eye type closure. This is just a very basic toggle clasp. So I'm going to open up the ring that attaches it. Let me just open that guy up, set that off to the side there, and I'm going to use French wire, which I normally use for my necklace designs. I know not everybody does that, but I like that. You could use a wire guard if you want. And you could also use a crimp cover with your crimps, which I don't do either. So I'm going to grab a couple of size 2 crimps. And one thing I like to do when I look at my crimps, sometimes when you get a bunch of crimps together, some of them may look a little bit shorter. I will always make sure that I pull out crimps that look to be a little bit larger. So I'm going to take some French wire and I'm going to cut a couple of pieces, and I want them to be about the same size. So I'm going to cut my French wire, and this is just going to provide a little bit of continuity to the end of my piece. So it's going to match up my with my silver pieces on my necklace. So I'm going to take my crimp and drop that on to the bead, to right up next to the bead, and then I'm going to put on my little piece of French wire, and it's just going to add some extra oomph to the end of my piece. Now, sometimes the French wire gets a little wonky at the end. So let me off camera, when I can actually see it, trim it off, that little tiny end. And then you're going to see it will just add a little bit of extra to your wire. Thank you, Michelle, for putting a toggle in. And I think I did not put the French wire in. So I think I saw you may have put that in too. Thank you for doing that. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to take my my wire, go back down through the crimp tube, and then take my my beading wire and go through the first bead. And that's really going to allow you to trim off your excess wire at a place where it's not going to be obtrusive. So here is the loop. I pull the wire down until the French wire meets up with the crimp tube. And I'm going to give that a good solid crimp. And if you make sure that your wire is not crossed and you get a good crimp on this, this is going to hold like it's intended. It's gonna do its job, and it's gonna hold all these big beads for you. So let me get this French wire out of the way. Get that out of the way. Then what I want to do is I want to take all of my beads and I want to pull them down. Make sure there's no spacing, there's no gaps. And when you have large hole beads, you guys, there's opportunity for that because sometimes the beads didn't settle into everything next to them. So remember, some of our seed beads and our demi rounds are going to be in those glass beads. It's okay. But get all that gapping out and let gravity, I'm trying to let gravity do its thing. And then you can safely go ahead and do your crimping on the other side. Now, another benefit, just as I'm thinking of it, another benefit to smaller beads at the top or at the ends of your necklace also help with an easy crimping process, because when you have a large hole bead and you don't have anything to stop that crimp, you're not going to get a good crimp. So you want to, I would say, even if you used these large beads all the way around, take one smaller bead with a regular size hole and drop that on the top of your piece. So that will help you to get a good crimp. So I've got to somehow see this French wire there. So there's my crimp and my French wire. See the French wire moving there. I'm going to grab the other end of my toggle. And you don't want your French wire to go into your crimp tube, which it can. And then we want to get that wire to go into that first bead, like that. And then I'm going to pull that down. And I'm going to do one last kind of gravity thing. And I'm holding my wire off to the side here. And I'm going to come in and give that a nice solid crimp. And I'll sometimes just give it one last pinch. So got a good solid crimp. And I want to show you guys what I like to do to kind of prove to myself I'm going to be okay. That this weight of this is going to be okay. I will hold the necklace out and I pull on the ends. That guy's not going anywhere. So that's our piece. I love how this looks. So I'm going to put this on so you can see it. I know we're running a little bit over time this morning. So let me put this on and then I'll flip up and you can see how this looks. I think I'm really going to love this. So let's see. Let's see if you guys like this one. Oh, that's fun. So I could even go one bead shorter, I think. Thank you, Kara. I could probably go one bead shorter and it would be just a touch more visible, but I like a shorter necklace. So this is giving me that curve I was looking for here. I've got these blue beads. Now you can't see the hematine beads, which if they showed, that's okay. But you can see just those two main beads we were working with. These guys, gorgeous beads from Ghana. We've got our beautiful crystals. You get a ton of these on your strand, you guys, and you've got a cool statement piece. So thank you, Karen. I hope you guys will try a statement necklace. Maybe make one for a friend. Maybe you've got a friend that just loves like dynamic and interesting, fun pieces of jewelry. Make one for a friend and let them go out and show it off into the world, show off your craftsmanship. And let's make a statement out there. What do you think? All right, you guys. As I'm wrapping things up here, don't forget to close out your carts because some of these things are in limited stock. So all of the trade beads and the gemstones that I'm showing today are all limited. And once they're gone, we don't have the ability to get more of them. So if you love these crystals, I would grab these because they're so fantastic. But there are so many fun things in the shopping cart. So I hope that you guys will grab some of those things and get them on their way to you. Remember, it's 10% off of Prestige just today, December 15th. That's the deal of the day for the 12 days of deals. And you get a crystal blend for your gift with purchase. So, you guys, I'm going to be back on Friday for the Art Beads Fab Friday with Deb. But in the meantime, don't miss Julie Bean on Wednesday and Becky Doll on Thursday. They've got some fun things planned for you. And I'll be back again next Monday for the last show of mine before Christmas. So again, happy Hanukkah to all of you. Happy holidays. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks, Michelle and Thaisa. I will see you all soon. Have a great week and